got the glow, feet on the pavement.
All right, what's going on, jobbers? It is your boy BQ, and man, did I mess up this? Right, so right underneath my face, you see BQ, director of no DQ garbage matches. I don't know how many people caught it. I had a typo last week. Didn't even pick up on it. Said BQ, director of no NQ garbage matches. So freaking amateur hour going on here at the lounge. But I am your boy BQ. We're talking TNA Impact 4, January 29, 2026. And these sons of bitches put on another pretty good show. So we've had 2 episodes on AMC. The first one, which was universally disliked, even though I told you I didn't really dislike it that much. They've had 3 episodes, 2 of them are very, very good. Now, in comparison to the first one, I can I can look back at that debut and be like, oh shit, maybe that wasn't that good of an episode. I just didn't think it was so bad that everyone had to write the company off forever, like what was going down. And it was actually, man, as a fan, as a TNA fan, it was actually kind of painful for me the other day. I was listening to Cornette's podcast, and I listen to Cornette for Cornette. I'm not a Brian Last fan at all, but he said something in there. He said something dumb last week too, but he said something like, just as a reminder, they were reviewing Dynamite, which always stinks. And he said, as a reminder, TNA is worse than this, something like that. You know what I mean? And it sucks. Like, as a fan of the company, hearing something like that from someone who has a large reach but doesn't watch the show at all. Like, you cannot in wrestling. I don't think it is fair to watch one single episode and make a blanket statement judgment about the show. I'm not going to say it's totally unfair. I get it. If I'm watching a TV show and it is episode 1 and I watch it and I don't like it, I'm probably not going to tune in for episode 2. So I do get the way of thinking. Wrestling is I think you have to give wrestling 2 or 3 episodes. I think you have to go hard every episode. Don't get me wrong. I think you have to go into every episode like you're going to hook someone that's watching it for the first time. But I don't think it is fair to watch one episode and to just be like, "Hey, this show sucks." Now, if you compare it to watching a normal TV show, maybe I do watch episode number 1 of whatever comes out on Netflix and I don't like it. I'll say I don't like it and not watch the episode, but I'm not gonna go out there and say, "Yo, this is the worst show I've ever seen," because you cannot make a statement like that if you don't watch all the episodes or a good portion of the episodes, or you're familiar, or maybe it's a bad season. You can say this is a bad season based off a couple episodes if you've seen multiple seasons before that. So, man, it just sucks that a lot of influential people are just basing TNA off that first episode, and you notice when you go on social media, the dirt sheets and all that did not. We know that there was visa issues and there were some other things going on. You notice how little effort the dirt sheet put into getting that information out there. It just seemed like it was. I guess people weren't buying the excuse, which that I can also understand because I think they had enough time to still put on a good show. But I don't know. A lot of people are not giving him grace. I think you got to give a little grace, but who knows? Maybe I'm just contradicting everything I always say up to this point. But what we do know is they've had a couple very good episodes, and I think we're heading in a pretty good creative direction. It seems like they are just putting a little bit more effort into the show right now. It doesn't mean there aren't some things that I could do without. Doesn't mean there aren't some things that they probably could still change, but for the most part, they're putting on good television. And man, I wonder what if one of these episodes was episode number 1. What would the universal reaction have been? Now, viewership into episode 2 didn't dip that much. So it's almost like the same people were watching, but you just didn't get the reaction. You're not going to get that you can't get that a second first reaction. So yeah, bitches, let's get out. Let's do this one time for your mind. We are talking TNA Impact.
TNA Impact. Oh.
So this episode kicks off with the system.
I'm not a system player. I am a system.
Now you remember this is a different group. This is a brand new group. It is Eddie. It is Myers. It is now adding Cedric Alexander and Bear Bronson. So remains to be seen if this ends up being any good. It is a much needed change for the system. They're very bland, very stale. It was time for the next step. And this is an exciting next step for them. Now it's very different because there's no Moose. Moose is the most over guy in that was the most over guy in the group. And then there's no Alicia Edwards, obviously, who was not the most popular person on the roster up until the formation of the system. But as I always said, they really unlocked her as a heel, and she became, she wasn't the mouthpiece by any means, but she got the catchphrase over. So, the system is kind of this promo, and it just like I said though, it does remain to be seen if this is going to be any good because it is a big change. The dynamic of the system is very, very different now. It might really work. It might flop. I don't know, but I'm excited to see because it's something. It's something different. Eddie has shaved his head, so he does not have that ridiculous haircut he had, which he's had worse. Don't get me wrong, but he has done some dumb fucking shit with his hair, and I don't know who is advising him that this stuff. No one's advising him because we just see his presence on television that we have seen get worse over the years. So no one is saying anything to him, obviously. But shaving the head, much improved, looks a lot better. But they were saying what they did had to be done. And I guess I wonder if there's a leader to the system here. I wonder if Eddie is the leader. I think Brian Myers should be. I think he's the best talker of the three by far. But we'll see how they handle this. As I said, there was no Alicia Edwards, but then she does come down.
Hey, baby.
And I get she has the catchphrase. I get that it's over, but was it necessary to hit the do you want to know something on a way down to the ring? Was that necessary? Is it a time and place for catchphrases? I say no. But she came down and she is arguing with Eddie Edwards. So they're going to go the Alicia versus Eddie angle once again, which is okay here because it's going to be interesting if she's in the corner of Moose. That's kind of what they've been doing. Moose always comes out to the ring with her. She's doing the Moose gimmick. But she says she does not want to be a part of this. So she's not going to be part of this new version of the system. So really they're down 3 members from what they were before. If they had 5 total before. So again, completely different dynamic for the system. And we'll see where this goes. It seems like they might be limited to feuding with Moose because once that's over, how do they move on from that? Especially because the heels don't win anything in this company. We'll continue to get into that here in a little bit. So we'll see. After this, we had Queen of the second segment, Gia Miller.
I will kill you.
And she was with BDE. BDE sounded okay here. He's got some work to do. He needs to fill out his body a little bit. He's a young dude, so understandable. But I think he has to work on that a little bit. He sounded okay here. I wasn't. He was trying to say he has paid his dues, which I think Hannafin is letting us know he's wrestled like 8 matches or whatever he said. So I would argue that he hasn't, but neither here nor there. But let's get into the first match of the evening. Bring us in Mackenzie Mitchell.
Ding bong, ding dong, he's Stone Cold Aye.
And we have the aforementioned BDE.
Big Dick Energy.
Taking on Call Your Shot Gauntlet Trophy holder Nick Nemeth.
I've been talking to people walking here. We've been talking about next year, and I'm sitting there saying, I'm not going to be here.
Really good opener. Really, really good opener. I've said this a couple times on my mailbag and the last review. Perfect way to handle BDE's first big match. Nick Nemeth approaches him backstage, calls him an experiment or a social experiment. You haven't paid your dues. You're back here playing video games instead of out here, watching the show. Great. Great stuff. That's how you go into BDE. It's such a minor detail, but that is the right way to handle it. They almost went 3 minutes without Hannafin letting us know that BDE has 1.5 million YouTube subscribers. So I'm looking for that every match now. Are they going to ever have a BDE match where Hannafin does not say that? I thought the match was a little too competitive. I get you kind of want to have a good debut or not a debut, but it's the biggest match of BDE's career. He screams, "Hey, we need a 6-man. A 6-man number one contender X Division match. We need Ultimate X." Like he screams, we're just gonna insert him into these matches. But this is the biggest one-on-one match of his career. And I get that you want him to shine a little bit, but we're talking about Nick Nemeth here. We're talking about potentially the next world champion. I thought it went too long. I thought it was too competitive. This was like AEW where everything is competitive. It does not matter the level of the two wrestlers. Kenny Omega can wrestle one of the fucking Dark Order jobbers, and it's still 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is not a format I think is smart for wrestling. That is not a structure that I think builds your heels. It just makes them look weak because how can you beat the world champion if you're going, 10 minutes with BDE? Understand me? So, but with that being said, I did think it was a good, entertaining opening match, and the people were into it. Obviously, Nick Nemeth wins this thing. Afterwards, Ryan Nemeth comes out.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
And he calls out Bioflex legend Mara Sade.
Dracarys.
Jacksonville, the community, Duval.
And she comes out, say my name, and she appears. She comes out 3 seconds later after he asks her to come out, meaning everyone was fucking dicking around and gorilla together on this fake funny wrestling show. So she comes out, and Ryan Nemeth is telling her, "I can beat you at anything. I beat you at wrestling." So they're going to continue this. Ryan Nemeth beat her at Genesis. A lot of heels won at Genesis. What does that mean in TNA? They will wrestle until the babyface wins. That is when the feud is over. The feud should be over when someone wins. But no, it's only when the babyface wins. That is the only time that we end feuds in this company. So they're going to continue to do this. Instead of trying to, I'm not saying build Ryan Nemeth into a contender, but I would keep this ball rolling. I would put him in the ring with another girl and have him cheat to beat her, and give me that. Give me the guy who only wrestles the girls because he knows he can beat them. Give me that for a few weeks, and then come back to Mara Sade or someone else. Maybe maybe it is too early 2000s. I don't know, or mid 2000s, I should say. Maybe it's too mid 2000s, but Ryan Nemeth open challenge to a girl every week, beat him in a couple seconds. I know a lot of people are not big on the intergender stuff. It doesn't bother me. This is fake phony wrestling. It's not a real fight, so who cares? I would like to see more of that than we're just going to continue the Mara Sade thing. Mara was off TV for a while, and it wasn't really clear. We assumed she was injured. I have a theory that she got a boob job. And I could be wrong. I kind of have to go back. I've been meaning to research the titties and go back to some older pictures, but I feel like that's why she was off TV. I could be totally wrong. And Ryan is saying, "I can beat you anything. I beat you anything. I beat you at Genesis fair and square." and I know you're attracted to me, which is normal and extremely hot. So that is where he's going with it. He wants her to admit defeat. Says you can shake my hand or give me a kiss. She goes for the super kick, like she's been super kicking his head off. He catches it, hits her with a clothesline, and she is down and out. So now we're getting a different wrinkle of Ryan Nemeth here. Now he's being a little more aggressive. So we'll see how this continues, but it's probably not the most popular angle with the TNA fan base, but that is what we are getting. Don't worry, folks, though. She'll be cleared next week, right? Because when Agent Zero clotheslined her, she wrestled the next week dressed up like Lita. So she's going to wrestle next week, right? If she can handle Agent Zero, she can handle Ryan Nemeth, right? Let's see what happens with that. We were backstage after this with the Elegance brand.
Come on, Teddy. Come on, Teddy.
And here they're now making it clear that Ash is now cleared, 100% clear to return to in-ring competition. She wants her Knockouts title back. And, very conveniently, Laying Lee, Queen of the Rubber match, Zaya Brookside walk up. Indy Hartwell. No, I think Laying Lee walked up by herself first, and then Indy Hartwell and Zaya Brookside walk up. Everyone's in the same show in the same room on this fake phony wrestling show. And they're going to have a 6-woman tag team match next week. So we're going to get the Elegance brand versus Laying Lee, Zaya Brookside, and Indy Hartwell, which the Elegance brand should win. That makes the most logical booking sense at this point. There was a segment where Mr. Elegance
Why are you gay?
he gets in front of the girls and starts flexing and doing his thing. And Indy Hartwell says, you're not my type. You're not my body type, or it was very hard to understand what she said. But it was along the lines of him not being her type because she's into girls. And I talked about this on the mailbag, but rather than showing that he was offended by that statement, he completely no-sold it and continued to dance and flex and be completely disconnected from this segment. And that is something Jesse Goddard's used to do. And Jesse Goddard's is now doing nothing. He was what was the Goddard's on that I watched last year? House of Villains. Yeah, he was on that. I'm going to hit pause here real quick. Not that I even need to tell you that, but my cat keeps slamming a cabinet. So I have to go whoop some ass. All right, I am back from whipping ass. The power, the magic of editing. So yeah, this you're probably going to hear me complain about Mr. Elegance for a little while. Like that, the character is starting now to grow on, to grow, not to grow on me, but to annoy me from week to week. So you're probably going to have something to point out about this guy every week that he is doing incorrectly. I just think it's an unnecessary character now that you have Ash back. The group is entirely too big. We get into some more one-on-one action after this. We have the TNA International Champion Stinks.
Help! He's got a boner!
And he is taking on the Hometown Man.
I don't know where the fuck you live.
This is another thing I was saying in my mailbag. Every time I see a Hometown Man graphic, I moan and groan. But then when I kind of watch the gimmick play out on TV, like it's not bad, It is a comedy gimmick. I give him respect for reinventing himself because the power to the people gimmick sucked dog balls. I think he knew that. I think the company knew that, and they course corrected it. And there's similarities of what he was trying to do before, but this actually works. He debuted his new hat. And if you wear it backwards, it's a Hometown Man mask. I know people are expecting me to destroy the hat. The hat is over with me. I think that's a good piece of merch. And another one that maybe a little too competitive. Obviously, Stax was going to win this thing. Thank God it was a non-title match. They made sure to let us know that it was, because to put the title on the line versus the Hometown Man would have been asinine. I thought there was a good Good spot outside of the ring here, where Styx was going to Stacks. What is this motherfucker's name? Jay Lorenzo. Everyone's J, AJ, RJ, DJ Z. So he pretends he's gonna give the hat to a girl, and he does not. And then Hometown Man eventually gets it from him and gives it to the girl. So I thought that was just a good piece of business to get Hometown Man over a little bit as a baby face, to get stanky leg over as a heel. So I was all good with that. And yeah, Stacks obviously wins this thing. I mean, let's be fucking real. Then, speaking of real, actually something that is not real, I should say, the fake Bioflex injury report.
You have 24 hours to live.
24 hours?
Well, 22. I'm sorry I kept you waiting so long.
Moose is quote unquote hurt. They're keeping him off TV, which is fine. Makes total sense. He did have the back injury at Genesis, and they're playing into that. They're playing into the beatdown. So yeah, keep him off TV. Rich Swann is fucking cleared. Why would he not be? Tom Hannafin and Mara Sade. She's being monitored by the fake Bioflex injury staff, the injury team, whatever the fuck he says. Don't worry, she's gonna be on the show next week, guys. Remember, she bounced right back from Agent Zero, from his devastating clothesline. She's gonna bounce back from Ryan Nemeth, right? Agent Zero took her head off. There was like whiplash there. Ryan Nemeth clotheslined her across the chest. She's gonna be on TV, right? She's gonna wrestle next week. She's gonna dress up like Lita. She's gonna dress up like fucking Trish Stratus and wrestle. We will see, folks. Then we're backstage. Styx is with Ariana Grande.
I'm sorry that people are so jealous of me, but I can't help it that I'm popular.
And I should point out that he cheated to win the match, and they're kind of playing off that Ariana Grace doesn't want him cheating. I mean, she's probably still turning on her dad here. Most likely, she's trying to go back to saying she's a good guy. So she was arguing with Stacks backstage, just like she was a month or so ago. Out of nowhere comes Santino.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Because he just happens to be about 10 feet away on this fake phony wrestling show. And I stand by the fact that Santino is winning this belt. I think they just don't want to go the obvious route at the moment, but I still stand by that. But they're showing dissension between Ariana Grace and Styx. What the fuck is his name? Stacks? I'm always calling him like different names, obviously, and now I don't know his real name. But he does have a boner. Okay, let's move on. After this, we have what was a pretty good match, a surprisingly good match, representing the great hand jobs. And coming out to the ring with Order 4, we had Jason Hotch. And his opponent for this one was Elijah.
Nurture me, brother. We both. This is the worst song I've ever heard.
Is Elijah good? I mean, this was not a signing that I was particularly excited about when he showed up. I thought the horse thing was very silly. But when he wrestles, he had a really good match with Ali. He had a good match with Jason Hotch here. He hasn't had a bad match. He hasn't had a bad promo. Like, is he good? I'm sitting here like, I mean, he's obviously he wins the match. Jason Hotch is not going to win, and obviously he's going to beat Ali because Ali beat him at Genesis, meaning they have to keep wrestling till he wins, and the feud is over. And the heel has no fucking momentum. We talk about this a lot. But he's starting to impress me. I was viewing him as this like former WWE riding his laurels gimmick guy who I didn't know enough about him. I watched him as Elias Sampson in NXT once upon a time, but I was like, I don't know if he can really work. So I'm kind of into the matches. I'm kind of into the promos. I'm into his general presence on the show. So I am very much coming around on Elijah, and they had a good match here. Jason Hotch was not going to win. Jason Hotch hasn't beat anybody. They're going to do Elijah running through Order 4, I'm sure. Didn't he take out Agent Zero a couple weeks ago? Shouldn't Agent Zero be very mad, be very angry, want to get his comeuppance on him? We'll see. I'm sure the two of them will have a match at some point, and I'm Agent Zero's over with me in the ring, so I'm looking forward to that being a thing. But Elijah is obviously going to run through the entire Order 4 and then beat Ali, and then Ali's going to have no momentum, so that there's no one to challenge our babyface world champion. Backstage after this, we had a Jada Stone promo.
I got into a different kind of entanglement.
An entanglement?
This was so bad. I understand she's brand new. She's green. This was not good, if I'm being honest with you guys. I mean, at this point, like, this was not a live episode, right? So reshoot the damn thing. Like, this was she has a long way to go. But at the same time, you can't totally hold it against her. It was like her second promo on the show. One was a pre-tape, but it was like a video package. I mean, this was a pre-tape as well, but I mean, it was bad. It was probably good that that the Order 4 cut her off, but it was all some of the fakest acting in the world. Ali's part was really, really good. What do you ask? What's your name, Jada? Excuse me, Jada. I don't know what he said. I just know he yelled at her. And then what's her fuck? Tasha Steelz steps forward and she slaps her, and Jada Stone fake sells the slap, and the whole segment was pretty I was gonna say musical theater. It was my daughter's in musical theater, so that's always on the top of my head. Very man, what I used to always call this stuff? Community theater. Community theater. It was all fucking community theater. Elijah walks up, puts his hand out, asks, "Do you want to walk with Elijah?" She fake shakes her head yes. And we're gonna get a mixed tag team match next week that Order 4 should win. It should be Ali and Tasha Steelz, because Jada Stone is very green and not really doing anything on the show and has no business beating Tasha Steelz in any way. So we'll see if that's what they do. Then we get Daria Ray coming out down the ramp.
Diarrhea, cha-cha-cha. Diarrhea, cha-cha-cha.
And we have one-on-one, newest knockout signing, Elena Black.
I got a lot of discipline, but you 25-year-old with them big cans and that peanut butter skin.
And she is taking on Ruthie J.
Doesn't even go here.
So here's a secret for you guys. Ruthie J is a lot better than Elena Black. She showed what she could do here. I very much compare her to Jada Stone, but she's better than Jada Stone is. And I'm not saying Jada Stone is bad. She's just green. She's got a lot of work to do, like a lot of these younger knockouts. So totally get it. But I'm just trying to put it in perspective that Ruthie J is very good. So they have to use her in an enhancement role here, but she is better than Elena Black. She is better than probably a third of the knockouts. And she showed a little bit here. You could see it, like she was wrestling as a jobber, but you could see she's got something. But I saw her in NWA quite a bit. She's very good. And what does she get? She goes by I want to say the 5-star athlete, but I feel like that's somebody already. Maybe it's Moose. And I think there was like the 5-tool player or something like that. In AEW, was it Bowens? We know he's got 1 tool. She's something like that. 5-star, five fucking something. But yeah, she's actually pretty good. I thought Elena Black looked good here. Well, she always does, but I thought wrestling-wise, she looked good. So I thought her promo last week sounded a lot better than the fake bullshit she's doing before. And I thought the match here was good. And I like her finisher. I think she's got one of the better finishers for the knockouts. And I thought it was a good reintroduction to the TNA fan base and to the Impact television show. I wish they wouldn't try to put her in the title picture right away or try to tease it, but so far she is 2 for 2 for me. The promo and the match. Much better than what I remember she was doing before when she was coming over with NXT. I know she got a little indie work in and then she took time off. Who knows who she's training with? Who knows who's helping her with promos? But I would just say she's 2 for 2 since returning. Then we get into the Feast or Fired briefcases. The first one is opened by Trey Miguel.
Is that Costanza over there?
And he got a shot at the TNA International Championship. The next briefcase, King of the White People, King of the Breakfast Buffet, Eddie Edwards.
Ooh, I'm white.
And he got TNA World title shot. Next one is Steve Macklin.
Do the ass kicking around here. Wait your turn, jarhead. Ah!
And we always know the Fired briefcase is one of the last two. Has it ever been like number 1 or number 2? You got to have a little drama, a little suspense. So we always know that it's the final 2. Steve Macklin opens up his briefcase, and he is fired.
Then you just fire.
So I'm starting to believe. I think Fightful put something out that it's a work. I think, and I've gotten a lot of messages about it, and I always do my best to communicate to you guys that I can't get future creative plans. And I know that's easy to be like, okay, well, all you do is ask about stuff that's already happened, and then we're supposed to believe you have any connections at TNA. Like, I get that argument, but I do not get future plans. They're not going to tell me that. And it's also my own personal integrity. Like, I'm not going to find that stuff out and then share it with you guys. So what other websites do is what other websites do. I think it was put out there that it's or imply that it's a work, but what I've kind of been telling you guys is if Fightful did not report it at one point as he was really fired, then that leaves the door open for it to being a work. Now my dog wants to piss me off, so the magic of editing, I'm going to step back and return. It actually wasn't my dog; it was another one of my cats. Guys, I'm not gonna lie. Even though I stepped away for like 10 seconds in real time, I got no idea what I was talking about. I was talking about the Feast or Fired. That's right. Whoo, talking about Steve Macklin. I'm starting to believe a little bit more that it's a work because they're going too far online. Everyone is posting about it. And it even had Hannafin crying on screen, which seemed like real tears. And shout out Matt Raywall, who was a heel through this entire episode. But there was a reason for that. It was the system. It was, even though it was a backstage segment, it was the Elegance brand. It was AJ Francis. It was Ryan Nemeth. It was Order 4. Like, those are the ones he's a heel for. I guess Frankie Kazarian, I think. So he's a heel for a certain certain segmentation of the heel. Is that segmentation? Is that a word? Fragmentation, fragment. I'm definitely going the wrong direction there. But there's a certain group of heels that he is a heel for on screen, and then he's flip flops for the fucking rest of the shit throughout the show. So shout out, he was a heel for this whole episode, except here when Hannafin was crying. But Hannafin kind of sold that. But to me, it's too much. It's too much. It's too over the top. Never before has someone, like when Grado was fired, did they do all this shit? You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to believe that we're gonna see him back on TV. But for the purpose of this, he is fired. He is fired. And then the final briefcase was Eric Young.
Today, I'm going to show you how to do a 3-day juice cleanse to reboot your body.
And he got an X Division title shot. In the past, wasn't it usually a tag team title shot? Wouldn't that make more sense for whatever the hell Eric Young is planning to just making him an opponent for the Hardys, who have nobody to wrestle outside of the what the fuck you call them? The Ronxious. What the fuck's Eric Young gonna do in the X division? Yeah, I mean, I get that it's a dead division right now. They relied very heavily on the Rascals. They relied on a little bit of Cedric Alexander and even Moose, because as Hannafin will remind you, it's not about weight limits, it's about no limits, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's a fucking cruiserweight title. It's a dead division. What the fuck is Eric Young gonna do in there with Leon Slater? So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, not a title shot, not a tag team title shot. X division title shot. Steve Macklin Fire. We were backstage, or outside actually. Very convenient. Mike Santana was on a personal phone call, but the cameras just happened to be on this fake phony wrestling show. And yeah, oh yeah, Mike Santana, the sound drop. Yo soy tu papá. And the system walks up, and Santana reminds him that he's run through all of him. I've run you through you and all your homeboys, which made zero sense. He's never wrestled Cedric Alexander. He hasn't wrestled Bear Bronson. He beat Eddie Edwards. When he wrestled Brian Myers, it was a no contest because he attacked him before the bell with a chain. And you remember for a while they were saying he beat every member of the system. I actually messaged someone, and it's like, he did not. He did not beat Brian Myers. He even wrestled Brian Myers. And after that, they never said it again. But Santana tried to go back to it. No, you actually beat one of the 4 people you're fucking staring at, motherfucker. And maybe he's going to feud with the system a little bit. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? Who knows what they're doing? But it's okay. It's okay to where he's not just dealing with Nick Nemeth. I mean, you know, everyone should be interchangeable and kind of dealing with each other at times. Then we get into the main event of this program. I do not have the garbage match soundbite loaded, but it is Big Boom, AJ Francis. Boom! Taking on Rich Swann.
Stop looking at me, Swann.
Rich Swann's new song sucks. Like, he had one of the best themes in the company. What is this? Why didn't you just bring back the other theme? What is this fucking song? It sounds like everybody else. Elena Black sounds like everybody else. Mara Shade's everybody else. Leon Slater, everybody. Every time they bring someone in, bring someone back, they have the same fucking song. Everything sounds fucking same on this show. BDE, all these themes. All these themes sound exactly the same. But yeah, this I don't even know if I mentioned it last Genesis when he wrestled AJ Francis, but I was very, very disappointed with it because he had a really, really killer theme. They had a no holds barred match here. Man, why don't I have a garbage? I gotta find one here, or maybe lazy booking or something. I just gotta hit you with it, you know. Here, let's do this.
Easy booking.
Let's do this. So yeah, this was universally well received as well as a great main event. They had the best match at Genesis, in my opinion. It was the opener. I thought it was the best match. AJ Francis always does good work. Rich Swann always does good work. They told a good story where AJ Francis was the big man. He was the power guy, and Rich Swann had to use his speed. And they didn't do anything that didn't make sense. They didn't insult anyone's intelligence. But where does it naturally have to lead? Because AJ Francis won the match. He won it cleanish too. I want to say he won clean at Genesis. So feud over, right? Build up AJ Francis for the world title, right? Feud over. No, we got to continue. And for whatever reason, it has to be no holds barred. There was no reason for this stipulation. They have had a bit of a blood feud, yes. But for the most part, there was no reason for this. It was just to do it. And Santino Marella is to no disqualification matches, what Teddy Long is to tag team matches. But they had a good garbage match. It was a good garbage match. And Rich Swann wins the thing, and it's going back to what I say about everything. Babyface win all the feuds. Your world champion's a babyface, but we got to make sure that we beat AJ, that we ultimately beat Ali. I guess Frankie's just going to be out of the picture here for a little bit. Eddie Edwards is. Oh, that's right. I was confused why Eddie Edwards, why the system walked up on Santana because of the briefcase. So I'm tripping. So Eddie's in the picture, and maybe that's where they kind of go with this for a little bit. So what's real interesting is that Santana's the champion. Obviously, he's got two guys gunning for him: Eddie Edwards, who has the Feast of Fire briefcase, and Nick Nemeth, who has the Call Your Shot gauntlet. So there's two guys who can kind of cash in on you at any point. So he has to literally watch, go to sleep with one eye open, watch his six at all times. Like there's two guys that could come for him. One of them's in great shape, one is not. So I hopefully that leads to some good storytelling in the world title picture. Because obviously you're not going to put AJ Francis here. He can't beat Rich Swann. But that's it, man. I think that's it for this talking about this episode of TNA Impact. There was a Hardy segment backstage with the Ronxious that I didn't talk about. Who knows? Because I don't know what the fuck they were talking about. I never understand anything that they say. We haven't been getting the Diamond Collective on screen, which is fine. I don't want to see Jada Stone, but I want to see Tessa. So we haven't really been getting that. There's a few people have been missing on screen. We'll see if they're back soon. But let's hope that next week is another very good episode of this show, and they just keep the ball rolling, and there's momentum, and we just keep building, and we're getting stories, and of course the good matches. But hopefully we're starting to get back into some storytelling. So that is going to do it for me. I am your boy BQ. I am out. Peace.